Hi, I'm Paddy Stapleton and I watch All About Sport on Kevin TV.
Hello and welcome to All About Sport on CavanTV.com, coming to you live from the top of the town studios in Cavan Town, sponsored by DrumnaMedia.com. All About Sport is Ireland's first live web TV sports programme with nearly 2 million views in 212 countries worldwide. On tonight's show, if you're interested in Olympian wrestling, well, please log on now or stay tuned, because I am now joined by Val Kallantyne, who's here to speak to us all about this sport, which is here in Cavan Town. So Val, thank you very much for joining us on the show. You're very, very welcome. So this is your first time on All About Sport.
It is.
We're delighted. Yeah. And it's the first time that we have actually featured Olympic wrestling on the show. So we're always looking for new sports. So we're delighted that we got in touch with you and you managed to make time for us.
Thank you.
Val, you're from Belarus.
I am.
And you've been living in Ireland for in Cavan for 13 years.
Forward than that.
Yeah, but you're very, very passionate about wrestling. Tell us, a little bit about your background.
As I said, I came here more than 13 years ago, but I started promoting the sport of wrestling just about 1 year and a half. I was studying in Belarus and I left my country, actually studied there for 4 years, and I ceased my education because there wasn't an opportunity to get to Ireland. And since I came here, I was working in the McCarran Meets in Cavan now. And after about 1 year and a half, I started promoting the wrestling and coaching.
Yeah, because you love it. You were saying you were studying economics in Belarus, but opportunities meant, you come to Ireland and then you get to pursue your love for Olympic wrestling.
Exactly.
As a youngster, when you were younger, were you very young when you got involved in wrestling? How did you get involved?
I started training wrestling when I was 7 years of age, with a different breaking period. It was 8 years I was at wrestling, but most of that time was at school. And I remember the time when we trained, and it was an exciting time when the competition started. Whole school is stopped, and you're visiting a lot of children from different schools, and it was a great time.
So, so it's part of the curriculum, is it, in Belarus?
No, it's not, but if you want to get more people involved in it, the school is stopped, and it's usually on the weekends. Right. We also had classes on Saturday, it was only half of day, but it wasn't that important because it was at the end of a week, and it's usually was stopped. Well, yourself, competition is not that often, it's only a few times a year, and another thing, the place I was born, it was a village with about 1,000 people of population, and there was only sport was available is wrestling. That's why it's probably a lot of
in your
people.
village. That was it.
Is, yeah.
And why was it why was that sport the main sport in your village?
Perhaps because it is promoted by the government, and probably because it is important. Because I think it's not only my view of it. It's a lot of people think about it because it's one of the most important sport in Olympic program. Probably our country and the country from the different governments are promoting that sport as well, which is a very popular in Japan, in the United States. As far as I know, in the United States, it's only in colleges, over 1 million people involved. The same thing in the Soviet Union. Oh, sorry, in Russia.
In Russia, yeah.
That's the place I was born.
Yeah,
so,
of course, yeah.
And
that's part of your history.
Well, it wasn't Gaelic. It was our country, So that's why we probably not so interesting about the GAA and everything. Which I found is very interesting sport too.
Absolutely, yeah, and I suppose no more than the Irish were very passionate about the GAA. Tell us a little bit more about the actual sport of wrestling.
think that people know more about wrestling as a professional wrestling, which is WWE, which is not what we promote. Our sport is this is a sport of Olympic program, okay, which is not allowed any slapping, any kicking. It's about controlling your opponent. It's about to bring the shoulder of your opponent and holding them to the mat for a second or two, and then you can win a match. You can win that match by superiority, by getting more points than your opponent. So, but if you see on WWE, it's all show. It's not a real one where the people are kicking each other, and very often happens that people involved in WWE has nothing to do with the original Olympic wrestling.
All right, so it's just more for enjoyment, but it's not it's not a competitive sport.
No,
It's more
in our sport, what's happening is we are not talking about the fights. When I came here and I start talking English, the people are talking about wrestling is a fight, right? So it's a little bit different translation at home. It's actually wrestling. You're not fighting. You're not kicking a person, and it's all rules. It's going within the weight groups and the age groups as well. So so it wouldn't be fair if the person who is 50 kgs would be on a mat against with 100, which is very often happen in WWE. On Olympic wrestling, you have 6 weight categories between women wrestling and adult senior wrestling, and I'll tell you more about the women wrestling, which is very popular in the whole world too, especially in Japan.
So yourself, have you ever, taken part in Olympic wrestling or in any major competitions?
Most of it was during my school period, and I didn't get internationally. Well, I actually was in one international tournament, which was in our country, but I didn't go out anywhere abroad. But the passion was I didn't get as far as I want my children or any people who I train will get to. I hope so.
You're really, obviously, you've got 2 sons.
Yeah.
And are they as passionate about
Oh
wrestling?
yeah,
Wrestling?
the groups of children I have the minute is between 5 and 13 years of age, but most of them is around average age is 8, 9. So and what we do, you can't push the person beyond what he think he can do, but with the children you need to do a lot of games with them, and I think I'm good at it, and they enjoying that.
Yeah. So you actually have your class, which takes place in the complex in Cavantown. And we'll talk a little bit more about your class later on, but I suppose just sticking with, to kind of understand a little bit more about the wrestling. I suppose, a lot of people, looking and thinking wrestling, it's a dangerous sport and it's quite rough, and in particular for young children, but it's a martial art, so it's kind of obviously got its own.
It is martial art,
yeah.
but you see the judo is trained all over the world. Wrestling also trained all over the world, but because we don't know too much about it, that's why we think that it is violent. But wrestling, it's not a violent. That's the unique sport, which is, I don't want, it wouldn't be right to say the benefits of wrestling to another sport. Every sport is sport, and everyone choosing way he wants to. He wants to train boxing, he train boxing. He wants to train wrestling training, he wants to train GAA. That's fine, fair enough, go ahead. But what I want to say is that wrestling is not a violent sport. Absolutely not. By holding a person, you're not kicking, you can push him, but you're not kicking, you're not slapping a person.
Yeah, so it's very disciplined and controlled.
It is disciplined.
They're learning controlled moves. Tell us a bit more maybe about the wrestling training program, and what if you had some new children in your class, kind of talk us through the steps.
It's ordinary training. What I want to say, separate wrestling from all other sports, is it is a unique warm-up. Once you do a proper warm-up, you won't get injured because you warm up every muscle on your body, and that's the priority of our sport, that every muscle involved, you need just the extra strength. But remember, once your body is stronger, it is resistant to any illnesses or any other factor. It's not we're talking about the weather or anything. You also toughness, which is also need to be grow up and develop. Once you have a desire to win and you are tough, you can wrestle.
Yeah, and then of course it is, boys in particular, they love to wrestle. I see them in schools. They love to wrestle, as we call it, because we pulling each other, down on the ground. But in, Olympic wrestling, they're being taught how to fall correctly and how it's controlled to avoid
Exactly.
injury and how to do it correctly.
Exactly. It's about controlling your opponent. It's about defending from if your opponent attacking you and use it against him to win a match.
Brilliant. We have some photos and we're going to have a little chat about some of the photos coming up on your screen now. So Val, you can talk us through just
Now,
one by one and we'll talk about the first one here.
What
so.
I want to say, there's something happened now, sport, was the last 1 year and a half since I started coaching here in Cavan. This is actually was in a few months ago. We were invited by a Polish society to make some demonstration in a St. Patrick College. We brought down the mats and settled them down on a floor, and we just to show them different drills and what's happening on our training.
St. Patrick's College in
That's
Dublin?
it. No, here in Cavan.
Oh, in Cavan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
It was a family day.
Excellent.
There was also a boxing club involved, and so 2 sport class were at that moment.
Right, so this is yourself and... is
and
this
my opponent, Marius.
Right, and...
He's also very good with the children, and we working like a team, and I think we do a great job,
Yeah.
and it will go up.
Yeah, and you're obviously, the main thing is when you're passionate and you can work very well with children, that's half the battle.
So one sees that it's all safe. It's all happened on the mat, which is 5-6 centimeters thick.
Yeah, so it's a bit to kind of break your fall. Tell us a bit about the colours on the mat. So we've got blue, red, and yellow. What
now
are
you
they
have
about?
a combat zone just in the middle, which is the yellow in color, 7 meters in diameter. Then you have a red circle around, which is you cannot pass because you will stop by referee, and according to it, follow up by blue color, or where you are not wrestling because you will be stopped by a referee and you'll come back to a combat zone in yellow color.
Okay, so yellow is the only zone you can wrestle in.
That's it. Yeah.
Once you hit the red, you're...
red, you can still continue it, but when you pass the red and your head or some body of your body will come out of this zone, you'll be stopped.
Great. Okay,
now, you can get a point by pushing out your opponents away from the mat, so it is also one of the way to get the points.
Yeah. So we've got a little video here just to kind of give you a little bit more of a taste of what it's all about. So if our audio is up, we might just and this is in the complex. I have actually spotted them training whilst I've been up there. So tell us a little bit about some of these moves.
Now, you have to keep it fun with them. You have to. This is the kind of game, and it's a warming up exercises as well, where you're crawling different ways. This is now at the minute on the screen we can see a competition that was happening last year in Open Irish Championship in Dublin in Trinity College. Now we don't have to go through the whole match, but if you can see the size of the mat and the referee in the middle, and the children of wrestling within the weight group and the age.
Yeah, we'll have a little look at this match because maybe we can learn a little bit more and just see. So when they grab him on the neck, he's going for the back of his knee.
See, no punching, no kicking, nothing like this. No one scored yet, but once they hit the mat with your shoulders, so you can lose a point. It's nearly there. Now you have 2 points.
So he's 2 points, and that's the guy in the red.
Yeah.
So you get 2 points if you get your opponent down, and then if you can hold them down, isn't that it? You've mentioned that.
You can win a match if you hold the shoulders of your opponent 2 shoulders to the mat by 1 or 2 seconds. It depends if it's clear picture. If you have 2 shoulders in the mat, you win in the match. Again, it's a children. It's not much technique involved in this, but you give them an opportunity to wrestle. They start in that. For example, that's my son in the blue.
That's your son.
He was 6 months only at training.
Oh right, he's only just. And so there's special ways for them to, where they have to be able to restrain their opponent. So like how they can keep them down. There's special areas where they can, hook in with their elbows.
You can use your takedowns. You can attack the legs. You can any other drills to take him down by throwing him on the mat as well, which is I think might happen soon. But
Yeah, and then when he wants to get he's done well there. When he wants to get his opponent down, so he now needs to try and hold him down, and you can see, yeah, how difficult that is. It's a lot harder than it looks. So.
But also, you see the referee in the middle, and he's need to make sure that everything is happening. There's special rules. You cannot hold after his neck. You know, you cannot choke a person, which is not allowed here as well. Now, I give a lot of information in different matches. You know, maybe that one is not the best example to what is wrestling about, but just to want to show that.
We can come back to another one in a little bit. So we'll so a little bit more about, you know, you didn't mention earlier that, you know, it's all very much about, you know, the mental, not just a physical sport, but it's also, and that really proved there in that footage that it's about the mental toughness of it also.
Well, you see, you can be really, your body can be really strong, but to be on the mat for 6 minutes, for 2 periods by 3 minutes, and with a break time of 30 seconds, you need to be real tough to sustain the, you know, you can be strong, but if you decided, oh no, it's too hard, you know, I mean, so that's why it is about desire to win and toughness as well.
Yeah, and then I suppose one of the hardest parts of wrestling as well, and I suppose something else, you're educating the children on their diet and nutrition, because it's also depends on their weight, not just age, but they have to, that's also an important part.
It is a very important part of wrestling. Well, we're actually not training our children of our group, which is the children 8-9 years average weight, you know, they don't have to have a diet or anything like this.
Yeah, but when you kind of get more competitive or
sometimes it happens that you need to reduce your weight by 10 kgs, which is happening in an international tournament, you know, but because it is a team and you have to go competitions, you have 2 people, you can't have 2 people at the same weight class, so.
Yeah, it's great. It is great for kids, and like that, it's great just, you know, once they're involved in sport, it nearly goes now hand in hand that they also have a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet.
That's it.
And I suppose children are more aware. You know, it also teaches the basic skills how to protect oneself. And this is very important for children and for any adult as well, self-defense.
Yes, it is. Wrestling is a self-defense sport. And, well, you can also find different sports in self-defense as boxing or taekwondo or any other ones, you know, but I can't say that this one or another one is better. But if you go to martial arts, the mixed martial art, a lot of wrestlers settled in mixed martial arts very well.
Very good, yeah. So we're going to go to another video, and I'm not particularly sure what this one's about, but this might be one more competition.
Yeah, that was happening in Enniskillen last March.
Is there a lot of competitions that you can take part in? Is it hard to get competitions?
No, it's not hard to get a competition. It's about 5 or 7 competitions during the year you can get to. Also, you can go away from the continent. You can get to Great Britain or somewhere else. Okay. But also, you know yourself, you have to get to second stage and get know something about it. You want to show something and see if you want to compete.
So
and it's very grown-up sport. I tell you, we'll see what's happening in a few years, and it's more popular. I'd say more clubs in Northern Ireland, opening in Northern Ireland than here in the south.
You find it's growing more now in Ireland. Is there many clubs in Ireland that you're aware of?
I think that's around 10 or 13 clubs, wrestling clubs, just specifying wrestling. You're also talking about MMA clubs, which is wrestling is an essential program, which has to be in every mixed martial art club too.
Now, just somebody in our backroom team was mentioning that they don't have any headgear. Is that a requirement? Do they need it in wrestling?
Well, you see, in the United States, it's a slightly different rules of wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in a college necessary to wear a headgear. Once you're on a competition here around the island, you can wear a headgear, but if you go to some international competition, to the World Cup in Europe, you're not allowed, you're not supposed to wear something like this.
You can't have it, no. Then, you know, have you got some children now, you know, obviously have we got like an Irish team in Ireland that does Olympic wrestling?
The children in my group is only started doing wrestling, so I just would like, I hope to give them a dream in some stage, travel around the world and to go what they do now.
Exactly, and they will really thank you for that. Now, some parents, as you said, feel that wrestling is too intense for young children. Your own parents had the same kind of feelings. They were never too confident. So you know how the parents may feel because you've experienced
it. It all went through me, and I remember very well when I was from this age of 7 till 15 when my parents tried to resist me to go to wrestling, but as you see, it's left with me, and now I'm trying to develop here. And what I want to say is just don't take from your child what he loves, because he won't get it what he's dreaming for.
Exactly. And, I suppose some of the safety factors in some ways you're saying are very unique in wrestling. Talk us through them.
Well, it is a safe, I would say that it is a safe sport because when you're wrestling on the mat, you have a referee. He's just a meter away from you when he stops in a certain time.
Yeah.
He knows a lot about it, and the wrestling is going on within the age group and the weight classes as well, which is also fair factors. And I said earlier, it's not a pro wrestling, which is show.
Yes. The way in karate and the other martial arts, that they can, get their black belt and they can move up through to the different levels up through the gradings. How does it work in the Olympic wrestling?
Well, if you're talking about that in different countries, it's a different way, right? We don't have a belts, but every country is providing his own system, right? If you're talking about Russia or in Eastern countries, they have a certain level of wrestling. You go from 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. But because I'm affiliated to a governing body, we have also Irish Amateur Wrestling Association here, and it's here for a long time, for over 60 years.
Yeah.
They're based in Dublin, and they said what we're trying to do, also establish something like this here to get the badges or something like this to get it more interesting.
So it's something that has yet to be established.
Exactly.
But would really be beneficial. You did say you're part of you're registered.
I have a governing body. Irish Amateur Wrestling Association. I have graduated cert as well, and I also got a cert of that I'm fully entitled to do what I do.
So
the course was done by me about 2 years ago, 1 year and a half. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. So I suppose that's for anyone watching, you think, gosh, my child would be really interested in this. Val is he's very well trained, and he has a government. Should I say you are affiliated by the Irish Wrestling Association of Ireland, so which is excellent. We have another video just before we finish up here tonight, and this is some of the children in Cavan Complex in training.
Yeah, that's the soldier. What they love a lot.
Yeah.
And as you see, their whole body, every muscle is involved. Not in every sport you can do a warm-up as you do in wrestling. We do a different rolling, forward roll, back roll, and different crawls.
Which is great, and I suppose because when they are on the ground, they need to have that control of their legs and arms, which is great because they enjoy it. And I do notice it seems to be all boys. Is your little son, is it?
Yes, that's it. No, that's what
we're going to go to another one now. Okay, so
this is the sprawl. It's one of the essential parts of the wrestling. So I just teaching them what's the right way to sprawl. I blow the whistle and they sprawling. So I'm just trying to reduce the time between the blowing the whistle. So
excellent.
Having fun.
They love it. Yeah. Have you any girls at all that take join?
Some are coming in, some are leaving. It doesn't suit maybe to everyone.
Yeah. Oh, this is great now.
Yeah, we have some dummies where we train as well.
So they know how to.
They just once the training is done, maybe they.
Okay.
It's
Next.
already
You did say there's, this again is lots of elements of lots of gymnastics exercises.
It is, yes. Now,
for their tumbling and all that.
Once you're doing a wrestling, you are able to run, you are able to sprint. Tumbling is a part of our training program, as you see as well. We do a lot of rolling and tumbling. Now, we don't do a lot of sprint. I can't do every exercise with a child because he had to grow up. He had to get a certain level to perform tumbling.
Oh, right, yeah, like just kind of, so obviously running backwards and then doing the final tumble. So this is then, oh, right.
Now it's a part of our every training sessions that you need to complete at least a few minutes in wrestling. So, and
this
again,
is called free wrestling.
Yeah, freestyle wrestling. And again, it's all in a friendly atmosphere and just to train the whole. And sometimes I give them strips and put them inside the sock or behind his back, and they're trying to pull them out from each other.
Yeah, it's great. Brilliant, yeah, that's great. It's great to actually see the children in action. So Val, again, tell us a little bit about your classes. They're in the complex in Cavan, so I suppose tell all our viewers all about your classes in the complex in Cavan. I know it's children at the moment, but you did say if any adults were interested and if there was enough interest, you would consider maybe, I suppose it is growing, it's in the early stages, but that would be probably your goal.
What I would like to say is that because I am in just the beginning and starting development wrestling in Cavan, and I hope it will go up in Ireland, I started to concentrate on the children only. But if some of the adults would like to be involved in doing wrestling, maybe some society here around the Cavan who had an opportunity and knows a lot about wrestling, because I will be only glad to see the people who had some experience in wrestling who can give me a hand or develop any other club. I can also support him and tell him what I know about it, how to go and open a club. They are all very welcome, and as I said, we are based in a swimming pool, Cavan swimming pool and leisure complex. If somebody wants to phone me, it's 085 719 8692. Alternatively, you can email me cavanwrestling@gmail.com. Again, if you don't remember all that, you can pop into a swimming pool and find a lot of information about wrestling.
Or you can contact Cavan TV. So just to give you them details again, if you're interested in getting involved in Olympic wrestling here in Cavan with Val and his team, you can contact Cavan Complex, or you can email Val at cavanwrestling@gmail.com.
That's
right. And of course his number or any more details you need is you can get it from us here in Cavan TV. So Val, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure learning more about Olympic wrestling, and we'll hope to have you back on the show in the future, and we hope it goes from strength to strength.
Hope so.
So thank you very much, and congratulations with your venture. So very, very huge thank you to Val Kallenty, who's here to promote Olympic wrestling. So that brings an end to our show for this week. Thank you very much for logging in. I'll be back again at the same time next Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. If you'd like your sport featured on the show, simply contact drumlinmedia@gmail.com or tweet me at Cavan TV Sports. So it's goodbye from me, Louise O'Reilly.